We got to go over this, okay? These should have been pretty simple, right? Hopefully. What is the integral from 0 to x of sine of t dt? What do we do? Hold on. What did you say? You're right. I'll get them in a minute. Just put a score on it for now. Okay, sine of t dt, we got to take the antiderivative, which is negative cosine of t. Now, what do I do for notation? How do I write this out? Do I have to put the plus c? No, because when I go to subtract, it's going to cancel out. But what's the notation that I use when I'm on this step? The evaluate sign, right? From 0 to x. You got to get used to that. So now what do I do?
Then you do the upper bound minus the lower bound.
Plug in the upper bound, so negative cosine of x. And I'm going to put that in parentheses, minus negative cosine of 0. Now I don't know negative cosine of x, so that's going to stay. What is the cosine of 0? 1, so negative 1. So negative cosine of x plus 1 is your answer. Are we good with that? Oh. It's okay, but it's wrong, which isn't okay. Number 2, this one's a good one. We are looking for when the integral from 2 to k of x squared dx equals 0. So you already know one answer. You should know one answer. What value of k will make that equal to 0? 2. That's one answer. There may be multiple answers. Don't just assume that's the only one. Okay? What would I do to evaluate this? Take the antiderivative. What's the antiderivative of x squared? 1/3 x cubed. Evaluated from 2 to k has to equal 0. Now what? Plug in, so it's going to be 1/3 k cubed minus 1/3 2 cubed equals 0. And then we'll simplify that, so 1/3 k cubed minus 8/3 equals 0. Then what? Move over the 8/3, so 1/3 k cubed equals 8/3. I'll multiply both sides by 3, so k cubed equals 8. We'll cube root it. 2, could it be negative 2? No, because negative 2 cubed would be negative 8. Careful though, because that you could have that happen sometimes. This is what kind of shape is this? It's a parabola, so basically graphically what we're looking at is we're looking at a parabola and we're saying if the upper limit is 2, what is the lower limit that it can produce an integral of 0? Well, if I move this anywhere over here, whatever it is, what will my integral always be? What sign value will always be?
Oh, negative. Positive. Wait, what do you?
Oh, I'm sorry. The lower bound is 2. So if I move this along here, then it will always be positive. Okay. Or if that's a 2. 2's there. If I move it over here, that's positive. If I move it over here, what's that make the integral? Negative. But there's no place where it balances out except at 2. The difference being is if I have a line that looks like this, let's say the integral from 2 to k of x dx. When is that equal to 0? Can you think of this without doing the work?
2 or negative
2 is definitely an answer, right? But is there any other value?
2? Negative 2.
Why negative 2?
Because like the negative and the positive cancel.
Because if I go from 2 to negative 2, this part is what's the sign on that?
Positive.
From 2 to negative 2.
Oh.
This is negative because we're going backwards. And then from here to here is positive, but they cancel each other out, right? So you get 2 answers here. Analytically, you would say 1/2 x squared, evaluated from 2 to k equals 0. So that'd be what? 1/2 of k squared minus 1/2 of 2 squared equals 0. So k squared over 2 minus what? 2. So k squared over 2 equals 2, k squared equals 4. So when I square root it, I get k equals 2 or negative 2. So sometimes you can't think of it analytically, though. It'll give you something else, like a graph or whatever. You have to be able to think of it graphically as well. Does that make sense? But the answer in this case is just what? C? Okay.